The hosts of the Swine Brothers show are not role models. They're not even human. They're complete monsters. The Swine Brothers show is dumb, crude, thoughtless, ugly, sexist, self-destructive, foolish, and a crime against humanity. Some of the things they do would cause a person to get hurt, expelled, arrested, possibly deported. The fact they blatantly ripped this off from another source should be an indicator of their shameless depravity. This extreme and bad taste will offend anyone with a working brain, so listener discretion is advised. If you're still here, welcome to the sewer of the internet.
Oh my god, my testicles just went on fire. Yeehaw!
Again. Welcome to the Swine Brothers Show, episode 208. Yes, we've made it to 208 episodes. You can contact the show at cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com is the email address. Facebook is still Swine Brothers, or facebook.com/SwineBros666. And Twitter, or whatever the hell it's called today, is, as always, SwineBros666. We don't have a Threads or whatever because they don't have a mobile or a desktop app, and I can't use a phone, so fuck that. You can also like, subscribe, share, and definitely leave comments, especially angry comments. We need your hate.
Or love, but hate works just as well. I am the Jim.
I am
the seeing eye mutant.
I am your usual windbag host, Ellie Lindemood, and as always, my usual windbag co-host is
the Jim, Asshole Supreme.
Asshole Supreme. That's the new Taco Bell menu.
That's a good menu to have. Ain't
yes.
that right, hon? You're a taco slut. You want the fucking burning Asshole Supreme, right?
I want the burning Asshole Supreme.
Yes. I will say that in the next coming weeks, we might have a review of an album by a band called RF7, a very good hardcore punk band. It's not happening this week, but maybe next episode. Who knows?
Who knows? I'd have to fucking get into things.
Yes, that is extremely hard to get because it's not on Bandcamp or anything, which it really should be. Anyway, what is on the clown show tonight?
I'm just laughing as I'm seeing. I mean, we're used to millennials fucking just being political activists, but now they're going into the whole entire old fuddy-duddy thing now. Because they're starting to figure out what kids are actually into. And they're like screaming, "Oh my god, this is just such brain-rotting nonsense." And I'm like, yeah, so that's what they thought of my shit in my generation, your generation, every generation before and after. The kids are always into shit that the older generations like it's either satanic or it turns you into a Nazi or, you know, whatever the fuck the flavor of the week is. And it's always rotting your brain.
That's actually kind of why I don't really relate to my generation, because I thought the shit rotted your brain. But rather than condemn them, I looked down on them because I was, kids are smug, right?
Yeah.
But basically, I just went, okay, I'm going to look for my own entertainment, and so I did. But I do think, I do think humor is extremely random and just non sequitur.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, I was watching that Xavier show you sent me, the Renegade Angel thing, and I actually kind of like it. It's not the greatest thing. It's not something I would want to watch, back to back constantly. But I can totally get the whole entire theme of the whole damn thing. At least it's just first off, the writing styles, the this happened then that happened kind of scenario instead of like action reaction. Consequences or anything like that.
Okay, so let's give a little context here for the viewers who are viewing the show. And also I should also say that our Discord server is Swine Metal Cult, and it is in the description. And if the invite link isn't working, let me know, because those things are buggy as fuck. So in our Discord server, I was talking to a someone who was a lot younger than me, and she was talking about Xavier Renegade Angel, which is an Adult Swim show that I remember when it was on. I watched several episodes of it because I used to just watch Adult Swim literally any until anime came on. Then I turned off because I was never into anime. Although apparently I
Fuck
like
you.
anime grind. Anime, it was the dubbing. It just took me out of the show. Just the unnaturalness
How
of
can
it.
you
It was
go
like,
wrong with that guy that has a chainsaw for a head?
yeah, that wasn't.
Or
No,
is
it
wielding
was,
a sword 6 times the size of your body
I don't
and
know.
just
All I
cleaving
remember.
people clean in half. You're
How can you go
get
wrong
out
with
of my
full?
way. What? You took 2 seconds too long. I'm now cleaving all of you in half so I can walk to the bar.
Yeah, how can you go wrong with Full Metal Alchemist where the guy's raging about how he doesn't want to drink milk? Oh boy, oh boo, boo hoo, he doesn't want to drink milk.
Okay, there was
Yeah,
so much more to that anime, but okay.
well, that's what I remember. Well, I mean, the talking chimera where he killed his daughter was interesting, but the dubbing just took me out of it, and I don't know. I prefer Futurama. But anyway, so I would watch Adult Swim, just whatever, and Xavier Renegade Angel was on. I did understand the idea of it, and I just thought it was like, okay, yeah, okay, I get what they're doing. It's kind of stonery, kind of,
Yeah, that's all it is fucking stoner humor. I mean, it's
But
just some fucking ditz on a fucking spiritual quest.
but he's actually just a random insane guy walking around, and the plot changes every episode, and it turns out at the end that he's actually just an insane human, or is he an insane human? We don't know. It's just totally random, and I like a little bit of substance with
It
my
didn't seem random
insanity.
to me, but it was also the this then that plot, which I could see where you would derive it was random.
It was, well. Have you seen the end of the show?
I haven't seen the last episode yet, no.
Yeah. So yeah, it, trust me, it's random. I think the first season or whatever was good, and then they decided, hey, let's just double down on just you, you know. But anyway, so she liked it, and I was like, really? No one liked it at my age group, but I guess it kind of it's more in tune with what people call Zoomer humor, which is a terrible term, but I don't know what else to call it. Just very surreal things, rather than like having a thought out joke. Things just tend to happen, like babies start exploding for no reason, and then fucking fetuses come down from the sky, and
I mean,
it's
random shit happening does usually appeal to younger audiences.
that's true. Although I
I
was
mean, you got
13,
this Skibidi Toilet thing that
oh
people are
god,
going gaga over now, and it's like, okay, I could totally get this. Music's been annoying, but whatever. Kids are going to listen to whatever the fuck they want.
that
And
is
it's
the
a singing
dumbest thing.
toilet. Who cares? Head pops out, and then it goes to war with, fucking TV headed things. Which I guess you could interpret it as, oh wow, this is like the war on privacy and shit, or whatever. I don't even know how the hell they're connecting it in their heads, but, I can definitely
Well,
see where.
cameras.
Yeah, everyone's got their fucking cell phone camera.
I'm just gonna say it's probably the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my entire life without the word Kardashians in it. But
Well, fuck, your generation was all about them Kardashians. Fuck, how the hell could I fucking drill you with a fucking one of the diamond
you
encrusted
faded out there
fucking
for a minute.
bits and breaking it off inside your skull? That kind of lobotomy would at least leave you more intelligent than the Kardashians would. And seeing that your entire
Well, yeah.
generation, most of your generation turned out to be political activists, that right there is proof that the Kardashians rot brains.
The whole thing about the generation that people say I belong to, but I don't, is back when I was 12, 13 years old, I was really into like politics and, well, parroting what people told me about politics, obviously. And I always said, I'd love for the youth to be more politically active because maybe we can make some real change. And then the youth got politically active. And I remembered that, oh yeah, people think that it's cartoon characters, the good guy and the bad guy, rather than like reasonable debate. It's you're either on my side or you're
Yeah, yeah.
a Nazi communist.
Yep,
So
that's the curse of having, an IQ higher than a turnip, is that you tend to think that people might be smarter than they are, and they're not.
An IQ higher than a turn up and an idealistic teenager.
Yeah.
Well, preteen or teen or whatever. But anyway, so yes, my teenage dream really did come true, and God, I wish it didn't. God, can we go back to youth apathy, please?
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, fuck. I just
shit on the system. The only thing that I know about politics, kiddies, is every politician is a snake and a liar. It doesn't matter. And if you fucking voted for them, those are the ones you have to trust least, because they conned the vote out of you.
That Mitch McConnell guy who had some sort of brain hemorrhage or something and he stopped, like he had to be led away. People like, if you were that old, why are you still in politics? Like, it's because they want more power. They're addicted to it. They want more money. I mean, trust me, if I was that old and I had the money for it, I'd be retiring to a private island and never see any of you ever again. I'd be blasting Slayer Marduk.
Name any administration where the goal of the politician was not to make themselves and their friends rich at taxpayer expense.
Yep.
Hell, you could go back to the founding of this country. Everyone thinks everything's noble and shit. That was still the main goal.
Well, why
Listen
was
to the damn debates they were having. It was like, who would get rich?
Yep. Well, why was this country founded? Because they didn't feel like paying taxes. Plus, abuse of power.
Decades to start saying maybe we should stop slavery too. It's like, fuck. Because fucking narrow-minded shit.
We had to go to war over it.
We had to go war over it. We just kept kicking it down the lane while everyone was making themselves and their friends rich at taxpayer expense. The actual problems just keep getting kicked down the road until it hits critical mass. And then something has to be done, or else the people revolt. Or you have a civil war over it,
Well, you know about the New Deal, of course.
Mm-hmm.
There's some pretty credible theories that the only reason the New Deal was signed in was because they were fearing another civil war, because the uprising from the Depression was just immense, because people were tired of starving and they thought that the government wasn't handling them right. So the New Deal was basically rammed in because if they didn't, there'd be a civil war or some or some sort of uprising. So yeah, you're exactly right. They waited until it literally can't be ignored. Then they do something that placates them. Although some say they could do more, but whatever.
Well, the original aid people got, my grandmother told me stories about that shit. Yeah, it was complete bullshit, and everyone looked down on you and shit. It's like, well, what the fuck are you supposed to do if your job died, and no one's hiring you? What the fuck are you supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. But yes, I don't know. Jim seemed more.
I also remember fucking in the 80s, whenever the food banks were fucking top-notch supreme. Like, sure, you got the general leftovers you get now, but then you also had the government-supplied shit. Oh, God. The government cheese. That was the one thing that made, like, Richie Riches dress up like they were some poor bum off the street because they wanted to get their hands on government cheese. And I remember a few years ago when I finally found out what it was. It's called Sharp American. It's a blended cheese of sharp cheddar and American cheese. And it's like one of the more expensive cheeses on the market. Not like the most expensive, but it's definitely, pricier than the usual shit you get. And it's usually, a fucking backroom thing. But that's the government cheese there. And oh my God, is it good. Then, whenever we started fucking fooling around in the 90s and shit, that stuff started to go away. The government stopped caring about people. It's like, oh, you're placated enough, we're going to take away some of the money that we're spending on various welfare programs and blow it wherever Bill Clinton wants.
Well,
which was apparently TV stations.
Well, and
drone warfare. I mean, yeah, we did fucking bomb the fucking Middle East into the Stone Ages, which kind of explains why, 9/11 happened, if you can't stop droning people,
Well, drones were a little after 9/11, but the whole thing is...
No, he was trying to do covert ops and shit.
Yeah, but they really took off when Obama... the whole Clinton and welfare thing. Yeah, and it's funny because, never before has so many, so few people have been on welfare. And the question is, well, where were they now? There was a huge homeless population, and you know,
Yep.
and it's still going on because we and every time they try to build affordable housing or mobile homes or whatever, you get not in my backyard. Oh my God, we can't have those icky homeless people. But it's okay for them to live in the wash and start wildfires and shit.
God. And that's
Like,
usually the fucking case, too. It's like, God, you try to set up a fucking homeless shelter, it's a fucking huge brick wall.
yeah, because oh my God, the icky homeless people. It's like, would you rather have them there, or would you rather have them in the park where you're trying to take your kids out or dogs for a walk or whatever, and you step on a fucking syringe? Because that happens.
Yes. Oh, I know that
Kids,
happens.
kids have been infected with disease because of, as DRI called it, syringes in the sandbox.
Now, I forget exactly where in Florida, but they had some pretty swank ones that were like, the storage containers you get off a boat. They converted them into like mini efficiencies. And that's where they started stashing some of their homeless people.
Yeah, those are good for low-level housing. I've also seen people try to convert them into.
Once you start building yourself up, you got to start paying rent on it. But that helps build renters' rapport. So that way, whenever you go actually rent a real apartment, you can get out of the homeless encampment.
Well, and the other thing is, and I know I know you're not as into Jalopy Afro as I am, but one of the things that he talked about that I think they could do is, those buildings that are vacant for tax reasons, they can't use them or anything, but they don't want to destroy them because it's a tax write-off.
Yeah.
Legalize squatting. Legalize squatting in those buildings.
Oh,
I mean,
now that would be an interesting way.
I mean,
and that could actually benefit. Like, what you could do is word it in a way that if they permitted squatting, then the tax break gets extra. If they permit squatting in the place.
Yeah, and there's gigantic buildings in San Francisco vacant. There's buildings in LA vacant, and it's like, and they're great. They're not the best, but it's like, well, it gets you out of the cold. But well, no, you can't do that. That's illegal. Even though this building's not being used for literally anything else, it's literally just there because less taxes. So
and you just gotta love how the government gets in the way of so many humanitarian efforts. It's like fucking open up a soup kitchen and then fucking cops are fucking knocking on your door because, oh my God, it's not up to code. Dude, I'm feeding homeless people.
So the only way the homeless people can get fed is to go to a church. We have to pray to this God to get some of that delicious soup or the nice warm bed. And God, and they're doing that with rehab now as well, where a lot of the rehab centers can't pay their bills, so they're shipping them to religious institutions. And so you go in at the most vulnerable point of your life, and where you're like the most easily susceptible, and all you hear is how you're powerless because God said you were powerless. So you come out a raving evangelical Christian, and none of your friends ever see you again. They're.
I mean, I was in the 12-step according to Jesus fucking homeless shelter, and it wasn't really that bad, but depending upon who's running the place, it could be worse. A lot worse.
Yeah. It can get pretty bad. I think a lot of it depends on where you live as well, and just how extreme the sect is. I can't really talk about so Jim's seen a lot more of what my generations has said about. I saw one Skibidi episode and wanted to drown myself, not in the toilet though. But Jim, I haven't really. So growing up, I was not into what my generation was into at all, so I can't really speak for that. But I will say that Kill 'Em All came out 40 years ago. By the way, happy birthday, Kill 'Em All. It's a little late, but happy birthday, Kill 'Em All.
Happy birthday, good album.
But when I was growing up, I was 27, 28 years old, right? When I was 15, 16, 17. So I thought, well, it's literally older than these kids. They, maybe they'll not like it, but at least accept it. Yeah, what's this noise? Turn this noise off. I remember showing someone Pantera, and I was like, you see how it's like not as heavy. It's like it all just sounds like noise to me. It's gonna, and
Well,
people.
the whole thing is, unless you develop the ears from it all, it's gonna sound like fucking noise.
It's actually funny because people my age, I won't say my generation because fuck millennials, but people my age who were into metal are now telling me that, oh, you're still into metal past 18? Huh, how childish.
Bitch, I'm fucking in the metal
And
going on 50. I know people in their 60s going to shows.
and these were people who I looked up to, like these are the people with the record collections that I would have done a lot of illegal things to have.
Yeah.
And of course now my collection surpassed them, but it was just really sad. Like they turned me on to so many bands, and now they're like, oh, we're into indie rock because it's more sophisticated, and I'm like,
Indie
really?
rock is fucking as watered down as it gets. God.
And I'm like, it's really more sophisticated than Chapel of Ghouls with its weird, strange time signatures and the way it flows and stuff. I think that's more sophisticated than indie rock. Fucking
Hell, a
even
pretty
like
damn basic instrumental by Metallica, like Call of the Cthulhu. Like, fuck,
formulas.
That's a hell of a lot more complex than fucking indie rock.
And if you want to get really complex, Formulas by Morbid Angel,
Mm-hmm.
which is an album that you kind of had to listen to a couple times, but once you
it's like there's this one video game song I like. It's called Riddle, and the way it was played on Castlevania 3 with the 8-bit thing, and then also the Famicom version that had an extra sound chip in it. It's great. It's got like this scaling part in it. I forget the name of the scale. It's like an open chord played individually.
Cool.
But it goes off in the background. And everyone I've said, oh, I got a fucking metal cover of this. And I listen to it, it's like, yeah, but where's the one part of the song, that little scaling part goes, where is that? Because that's like the one thing that would break into a fucking guitar solo, after you do your first repetition at least, And you're not even playing that. That is just fucking watered down alt rock at this point because you missed the intricacies which would have made it metal. The 8-bit version is more metal than your supposed metal cover.
Yeah, and they talk about, but the lyrics are more sophisticated because it's not just about ghouls and death. And I was like, I mean, if you don't want ghouls and death, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but there's songs that explore the occult. There's songs that explore philosophy and life. There's songs that explore politics if you're into that. There's metal,
war, history, fucking literature. I mean, hell, we got Sabaton, we got Iron Maiden.
Vanilla Road.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Shit,
to do some introspection, you also got fucking Slayer. If you actually know how to do poetic introspection using Satan as like a metaphor for, the questioner, or, that's usually the best one to do, the questioner.
And yeah, well, and then later on they did, straight out, songs that were straight out questioning, is warfare right? Is this right? Is censorship right? Or, you have songs exploring all sorts of interesting topics,
mm-hmm.
not just Satan, and if you want a more if you want a more exploration of the occult, there's black metal for that, which is not just Satan rules. I mean, yeah, they have a lot of songs like that, but Jim, you've seen black metal bands with like lyrics diving really into like pre-satanic, like Mesopotamian ideas and stuff like that. It's really interesting. And you have bands exploring different cultures, like Egyptian cultures and stuff, not just like, oh yeah, there's a mummy, but like actual Egyptian scrolls. And so yeah, but oh no, it's indie rock's more because they talk about feelings, which is usually the feeling, I'm so depressed and confused and depressed. It's like, how is that interesting? Like,
fight to the last man. Do some, shit. Yep. Just do something in your life other than sit there and mope. God.
So I think it's not just that my generation are fuddy-duddies, as you said. I think it's also that my generation are snobbish, but like the wrong kind. Like, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of snobbery. I mean, we're probably metal snobs.
Mm-hmm.
To a point. At the same time,
girlfriend and I got in an argument the other week because I had a Morbid Angel on my fucking playlist, and for some reason she doesn't like that, but she loves Cannibal Corpse. So it's like, okay.
Poser.
Yeah,
And
I
I know
already
she
called
listened-
her a poser.
I know, well, and I know she's listening to this, but poser.
Mm-hmm.
She'll kill me. But anyway, well, I mean, so I like to. I mean, we're metal snobs to a certain degree, although we can still get off on Master of Puppets and even a mods and stuff. But they're snobbish about because we have to be so mature and so intellectual.
There's so many people within your generation that like pretend they try to act like an adult, but they really don't get it. Like they sit there and scream, "This is all bad because people are saying it," without realizing there's a why it's bad, and they just try to double, triple down, and they don't question. It's like so childish. Like you're pretending to be an adult by picking up the superficial traits, but then you use terms like adulting.
Well, see, okay, so
I know I've gone off on that phrase before. I fucking hate it to hell. It's like, dude, that's what I call a normal day. I go to work, come home, pay my bills. That's it. That's a normal fucking time for me. If you have to come up with a special term for it, that means no, you haven't grown up at all.
Well, okay, so first off, I do get the hatred of doing, stuff like that. But, yeah, calling it adulting is just like, yeah, that's just what you have to do. I don't want to adult. Well, then hit yourself on the head a couple times so you have permanent brain damage, and then you'll never have to adult again. Allegedly, by the way. Don't actually do that.
Yeah.
Or at least if you do, don't blame us.
Yeah. We did not inspire you.
No, we did not inspire you, and yeah. But anyway, I was like that as a teenager. There was more to it than that because I felt like nobody. I as a teenager with quote unquote political opinions, I wanted to be taken seriously, but I felt like as a yeah, and you didn't, Jim. You didn't as a teenager, really.
Oh, so, I know. I went through the same thing, but still, I have to laugh.
But also I felt like the whole blind thing was kind of prohibited because I had seen people talk to me like, oh, he's simple or he's special ed or whatever because he's blind or whatever. So I started going way off into the deep end. Like someone my age was talking about watching SpongeBob, the old cartoon show for nostalgia. And I was like, ew, you're 17, you're watching SpongeBob? That's just lame. Wow, grow up. And so I would dunk on people for like going to a theme park. Keep in mind there's nothing to do. Go to an amusement park for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I would make fun of them because, oh my God, I'm so above that all. And so I fell into it, but then I realized how pretentious it was. But nowadays you have people, it's kind of funny. They'll watch like cartoons that they grew up on when they were a kid, but they think metal is, immature and you should get over yourself. So, yeah, I wanted to be taken, and then I realized that, that attitude wasn't helping anyone because I was just making myself miserable, making everyone else miserable. But yeah, there was a time in my life where I did actually want to be taken seriously. Now I just don't care. If you take me seriously, fine. If not, then
yes, you have to come to terms to own your relevance.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you realize it doesn't matter anymore.
I mean, it's
and
like
you have to do things like have fun.
It's like that girl who got invited to like the UN at 15. I was like, shit, at 15, I wanted to speak at the UN because I knew how the world. That's why I don't trust teenagers, because I was a teenager and I remember it. Shit, when I was 15, I would love to be invited to the UN because I knew how the world could be improved.
Yes, I knew everything. I knew everything about everything. I didn't even need internet with a fucking search engine to know everything about everything because I had access to a library because, we didn't have the internet in its current form yet. I would have been much worse if we had the internet with search engines back then. Yeah. But I had a library that I could order books to, and I had easy access to a fucking collegiate library on top of that.
Yeah, so...
And because I did things like check out textbooks and read them cover to cover, I knew everything about everything, and I knew what the solution to everything was. And I look back at half my ideas now, and it's like, dear God, I am so glad none of this happened. And then I also look back at the things that I wanted to happen that did happen. I'm like, I actually regret that happening now.
Well, so my whole thing was like, if we just get rid of the government, everyone would volunteer happily for everything, and then there would be no more war and blah blah blah. Now I was like, yeah, what?
I mean, they
But-
either put. It's funny because you watch them put way too much trust in their fellow man, but then simultaneously have absolutely zero trust in their fellow man. It's like, yeah, everything would be awesome if you got my plan going, but you're not accounting for deviances and like how people think.
Well,
because if they agree with 9 out of your 10 points, they're going to disagree on one of them. And it's going to be different points for all of them. So what the fuck's going to happen other than inner turmoil?
So there's a song by Crass called Bloody Revolution, and it's kind of my theme song whenever people talk about, wanting a communist revolution. It's like, well, what if I don't want your revolution? What if I want something different? Well, what are you going to do? When you get power, what are you going to do with the people who want something different or who, but, yeah, so, but again, that was me as a teenager. Now I don't even know. I vacillate so much between I'm burnt out to, okay, we should probably change this. I don't know. I want a decent future, but at the same time, like, burn the world.
Yes, burning the world is always a good option.
Yes. Maybe we should take a music break. And Jim, you haven't screen shared yet.
I haven't screen shared yet, have I?
No, I didn't actually hear the theme song.
Well, let's fix that, shall we?
Yes, let's fix it. We'll be right back.
Wait.
great ambitions rise. So who can tell me, who can say for sure which one will win the Nobel Prize? It was a golden age for science. The Kaiserreich would hold the key. And as the conflict came and tensions rose, the manifest of the 93. Haberbosch, the great alliance, where's the contradiction? Fed the world by ways of science, dinner or a saint. Father of toxic gas and chemical warfare, his dark creation has been revealed. The war no man's land, a poisonous nightmare, a deadly mist on the battlefield. Perversions of ideals of science, lost words of alienated wife. And in the trenches of the Western Front, unknowing soldiers pay the price. And on the battlefield they're dying, and on the fields the crops are grown. So who can tell us what is right or wrong? That's all morality alone. Haberbosch, the great alliance, where's the contradiction? Fed the world by ways of science, sinner or a saint. Father of toxic gas and chemical warfare, his dark creation has been revealed. The war in no man's land, a poisonous nightmare, a deadly mist on the battlefield. Father of toxic gas and chemical warfare, his dark creation has been revealed. The war in no man's land, a poisonous nightmare, a deadly mist on the battlefield.
That first one was the decisive battle, the version from Final Fantasy V. One you fight against X-Death with, that was Ga Metal, or GA Metal, with that cover of Nobu Uematsu's great work there.
I only know one Final Fantasy metal cover. It actually wasn't really a metal cover at all, but it was Final Fantasy. It was on a power metal band song title, or album.
Yeah.
Say.
The next one was Sabaton with Father, off of their Weapons of the Modern Age album. That was a song about Fritz Haber, however you want to pronounce it. I'll fuck it up. But he was like one half of the team that developed the Haber-Bosch method, which was how we got like better fertilizer, so better food growing. But he also helped progress using chlorine gas and other poisonous gases in World War One.
That was
So, sinner or saint was like the theme there, because, like, yeah, he helped us eat, but he also pretty much invented one of the most horrific things to happen during war.
yes. Yeah, the brand new album, and yeah, it's off their newly released EP. There's a lot of great metal coming out, by the way, this year. We're basically living in probably the golden age of death metal.
Yeah, golden age of death metal. We need that.
New Sanguisugabog this year, new Dying Fetus, new Cannibal Corpse, new Deicide. I mean, shit.
Mm-hmm.
All we need is new Vader. New
Yeah,
Frozen
new
Soul.
Vader. That'd be nice. But,
Yeah, that would be. But yeah, new Frozen Soul. Of course, new Overkill as well. New Metallica, if anyone cares, which apparently people do for some reason.
I don't know why. They stopped being good years ago. They stopped being good when I was still a kid.
Yeah, you were like 15. I mean, the modern stuff has some parts I like on it, but it'll be like 20 minutes at best of things I like in a 77-minute album.
Yeah.
So much.
And it's not all in one song.
No, it's not all in one song. It's just so much fluff.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of great new death metal bands out there. I mean, it's kind of amazing, and a lot of them are bigger than they've been in. It's kind of awesome to see all these new bands coming out with so many good albums.
Oh yeah.
So that's good. I mean,
going back to things kids are into. Have you seen the NPC meme?
yes.
The NPC videos where like people just utter out the same 6 messages over and over again, depending upon what things they are gifted.
Well, that's been a fact of life for ever since the media's been invented.
When you talk about it, it's older than the written language.
Yeah.
We're talking pure prehistory here, people.
But it's just funny seeing that people who are in the late 20s, early 30s, 40s, or whatever, who vow that they would never, we're not like the last generation. We're not like all the other generations. We're gonna be open-minded, and we're gonna respect what our kids like, and then they turn into the.
Yeah, you see them yelling, "Oh my God!" There's like, I'm gonna give you a half-hour dissertation on like how the fucking NPCs doing this thing on like TikTok or whatever, or like actually rotting their brain. It's like, dude, seriously, it's kids being kids. What the fuck do you expect?
Well, yeah, but the whole thing is, like I said, we're going to be open-minded. We're not going to make the mistakes of old generations. We're going to be open-minded. We're going to respect what the kids like, and then when the kids like something that's stupid, they're, oh my God. And whereas I came to the I thought what my generation liked was stupid, so I knew I wasn't going to like what the next generation was, because I thought I thought they were idiotic anyway. Yeah,
everyone's a fucking moron.
Let me put it to you this way, Jim. At 3 or 4 years old, when most people watched Barney, I watched shows called Shade Tree Mechanic and Trucks about how to work on cars. Not until I was 7 or 8 did I get into like SpongeBob and shit, and started watching like cartoons and stuff.
I mean, my favorite things whenever I was young, I would watch QED, which was our public station, and they'd have like Nova on, and I'd be watching all the science weird shit. So all the kids are going off about whatever. Oh God, I can't tell you how much I just wanted to beat my head against the wall, and actually did beat my head against the wall, literally, a few times whenever my fucking classmates would all be like going gush about the latest Michael Jackson album, or like fucking what the fuck's her name, Madonna. They were going all over on this shit, and I thought it was so brain dead. I mean, hell, even back then I tried telling them that fucking Michael Jackson was far superior in the Jackson 5 than he was in his solo project, and I had my head thrown in a toilet bowl because of that.
See, for me it was stuff like they were gushing over Jay-Z or R. Kelly or Beyonce or whatever. I was just wasn't interested, but I didn't even care because I was like, well, they don't know anything about NASCAR or IndyCar, so what do I care? Because so they would talk and I would talk loudly about like racing and stuff, and basically we just had a mutual, we don't get each other, so. And then, I mean, later on I found people later on I got into metal and found people into metal. Still have trouble finding people into racing, though, because, that's a lot more niche. And yeah, they would gush over.
You'll come across a lot more inbreds who have opinions that vastly fucking differ with yours.
You're inbred.
Yeah, I know I'm inbred. With a single-digit IQ. Get it right. I'm inbred with a single-digit IQ.
When I was into Green Day when I was like 10 or 11, because my sister was into it, that was the only time where I ever felt like I could talk with like my age group about. And even then, despite the fact that they sold like 20 million albums, it always felt like my age group was more into rap than any sort of rock.
Mm-hmm.
But then later I got into metal, and like I said, I occasionally meet someone in high school like, "Oh, you like metal like Slipknot or Killswitch Engage?" I'm like, "No, I just saw Killswitch Engage, and they depressed me, so pee in her butthole, really." So yeah, even in high school, until I met like my black metal friends, you get people, "Oh yeah, are you into metal like Killswitch Engage or Slipknot or Korn?"
Oh god.
I was like, because I was kind of into Killswitch Engage a little bit because my sister's boyfriend was into them.
And you were just starting out. But
yeah,
at the same
and I
time,
saw them live, and that just killed it for me when when one of the members grabbed the microphone and asked if there were any girls, because he wants to go backstage, and I quote, "pee in their butthole." That is not censored. I can't forget that because I was just like, man, I'm 15 years old, and even I think that was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But so I never really had anything in common with my generation. And of course, then I got the internet and I started talking to people who were there in the fucking 80s, about death and grind. And
I mean, so I like seeing some of the memes popping up. They're supposed to be like, from Gen Xers fucking saying, who was hot on TV. And I'm just sitting there saying, yeah, it was Barbara Feldon from Get Smart. But they're all mentioning like all the sitcoms that came out in like the 80s and 90s, and it's like I didn't really care about that shit. My girlfriend actually said, "Oh, that's the theme song to Full House that the one guys was playing." It's like I remembered it from somewhere, but I didn't know the fucking name of it.
I know because
it was like one of those things that was on, that my parents would make me watch because
See, by that time it was classic shows, so it was on like Nick at Night, which was and I had a classmate who really loved Full House because she was obsessed with the Olsen twins for some ungodly reason. But I remember that.
I never really got the fucking Olsen twins fetish thing because they made fucking video games about them. It was like, dude, why? What did they have to offer? And then they were the baby in a TV show once.
I never got it, but my sister loved them, so I don't. Yeah, I never understood it, but yeah, my sister loved them, and I remember that. And yeah, I never understood it, but yeah, so I watched a couple of episodes. So I got into cartoons, and when I was 7, 8, 9 or whatever, and so I watched like Nick shows and shit. But I got into the Simpsons, which was already kind of considered old back when I was 7 or 8, because you had 9-year-olds watching South Park, which I didn't. I wasn't that cool. I didn't watch South Park till I was about 12, but then I got into like Family Guy and South Park and stuff, and then the Adult Swim stuff. But that's as close as I ever got to like the stuff that my age group liked.
South Park was like this discovery I made while I was at college.
Yeah,
and that was like when it was still in its like infancy,
Yep.
Other discoveries I made in high school were Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
I was never into Monty Python.
In fact, I also went on to Monty Python's Flying Circus, saw some of that, and some of the other shit like The Life of Brian. Loved that shit, but considering the rest of my age group was in whatever the fuck was popular in, the early 90s. I mean, Beavis and Butthead, yeah, I saw that. I saw Ren and Stimpy. I saw Simpsons. And then we have the complete brain death that was like fucking Friends and Seinfeld. I mean, I at the time thought that those TV shows were only watched by people who were too stoned to grab the remote because it was sandwiched between two Simpsons episodes.
Funny.
Okay. And then later on, I find out, within the past couple years that, oh shit, people are paying for streaming services just to watch those shows. You mean people actually bought the box sets of those shows? And then they have like this AI generated fucking Seinfeld thing, which I saw like a 3-second clip of it, and the guy was just like, my butt, and that was the joke. Canned laughter. And like people were gobbling it up saying it's just like the show. Like, really?
So I wasn't into Monty. So I never really got into Monty Python because by the time I'd seen it, I'd seen Metalocalypse and the Venture Brothers and stuff that was way more raunchy. I was like, okay, I get it for its time, but it's whatever. Like, there were like 5 jokes I found funny, and the others that are, okay, whatever. There's some good sketches, but I wasn't a huge fan like everyone else. Like, that was really popular with the nerd community when I was in high school. Was Monty, as well as the Hitchhiker's Guide, which, as you know, took me a little bit to look up because people would quote stuff and it would just sound like random bullshit to me. I was like, that doesn't sound interesting. That just sounds like random jokes. And finally, I looked. Oh, it makes sense actually. Yeah, but anyway, so Friends. I mean, I get why people watch Friends. I actually do get why people not interesting people, but
the exciting lives of yuppies. Like, you could take a tentacle monster from Flabcorp 7, a fucking, golden unicorn that flies, a talking toaster, a piece of moldy stale bread with rancid meat on top of it, and just plug them into any of the actors' positions on those shows and you get the same exact TV show.
Yeah, but you're missing the point, Jim. The point is that these people were, they didn't watch for the plot. They watched because, I'd like to have friends like that. It was a way for them to shut off their brain for 30 minutes from their work lives and watch it and, kind of vicariously live with, them. Personally, I want something more than that, but a lot of people, they
hell,
do.
I fucking get off from work, and one of my first things is, like, I'll sit there and plop on YouTube, probably plop on, like, a historical documentary or something. Lately, I've been in a fucking huge Bronze Age fix.
Yeah, I'm not huge. I'm not huge on the Bronze Age because so much is guesswork.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of guesswork involved, but still,
I like things that are a little bit more.
I
like things that are a little bit more concrete.
Because it's funny, because like at the same time writing is being developed, we're developing money, and you look at the cause and effect of both of them. Okay, writing was originally a way to redistribute wealth, because what they would do is they take their harvest. The portion of their harvest, and take it up to the temple, and some of it would be burnt and sacrificed to their god. The rest of it would be put into a stash to be withdrawn, and I don't think anyone knows, like, the actual, how it would be redistributed, but, during times of want, it would come back out to the people,
Yeah.
And there were also other jobs that were going around, like scribes and,
Yeah,
people working, the cloth looms and shit. This is where all new fucking industries get involved with. They weren't making food, so they'd have to be rationed out food too. And, money was being developed about the same time because you got a huge population of people that don't know each other. It's not like tribal times, whenever we were fucking hunters, gatherers, everyone knew each other, and you could just easily say, hey, buddy.
Well,
you need something, I'll just give it to you because we're in the same tribe. And, they had little locations where they would barter between tribes, but this is more like, an annual or like, a lunar event, like every new moon or full moon or whatever the hell moon they use to gauge things by.
Or they just go to war if they didn't know each other.
Yeah, if they didn't know each other, yeah, there was always war.
Yeah,
We've
for
been
war.
waging war since before we were even human.
Good. So yeah, I mean, I get it because I'd go back to school, from home from school, when I turn on a historical documentary or a race or something. But a lot of people just want something that they can just turn off whatever little brain power they have. And like my parents love Friends, and because, like I said, it was a show about they hated Seinfeld because it was annoying New Yorkers or whatever, which I can understand perfectly. But yeah, I mean, I'm not defending people liking them. I think that people I think it doesn't hurt to have higher standards of life, but yeah, I understand why people liked it because, well, I'll just watch this. Oh, wouldn't it be great if I had friends like these? Oh, well, maybe
I
if I
don't want friends like that. God, they were lame.
no, I don't want friends like that either.
I
But
had really cool friends,
maybe if I
Well, like we
maybe if
had
I
the useless piece of shit who would like dangle things from his nut piercing just to prove it was real.
maybe if I concentrated hard enough, then I can imagine that I'm living with those yuppies. And yeah, meanwhile, I'm like going, this show's stupid. I don't like these people.
I wouldn't
So
want anywhere near them.
yeah, right. Well, I would go near them with like a bulldozer.
No, I'd sell drugs to them. But that was back when I sold drugs.
So yeah, yeah,
But I
people.
quickly kicked them out of my house. Yeah.
So yeah, I do understand why people like those shows because, let's face it, a lot of people want the path of least resistance and the entertainment of least resistance. I mean, Friends is a show that's not going to challenge you in any way or hurt you in any way. It is what it is. Like, and people don't want to be challenged. I remember I remember showing someone a great story that I read. Oh, I don't like it. Why? Well, it was too depressing what happened to the main character. I'm like, well, yeah, but I mean, A, they pull through, and B, yeah, it was depressing because there was a challenge for that character. It wasn't just,
Yeah, they had to overcome something instead of just, oh, wow, everything's handed to you.
or
God, I hate the fucking how everything's handed to you at the beginning, and your big thing is to hide how good you are because it'll make people angry. That's like the dumbest fucking thing ever. It's like, dude, if you start off at the top, it's pointless. There's no struggle. If you start at the bottom, you're going to go through hell. I mean, hell. Like, you got Berserk. Dear fuck, that guy had it rough his entire existence. He was literally born from a corpse.
Yeah, but
and that was just the start of his life. It was
all
all downhill from there, but he fought and acquired things, had friends. Then his best friend decided to betray him because he pissed off his best friend one time by leaving and looking for his own journey.
Yeah, so they told me, yeah, but there's conflict in other shows. Like this one, she doesn't know if this guy is interested in him. I'm like, I don't care. Why would I care? Like,
why would I care if this person or that person is interested in? I don't give a fuck.
This person's dating two men at once, and oh my god, it's such a heart-wrenching love triangle. I'm like, no, that means she's a slut.
Either she's a slut or, like, the guys are into sharing, Maybe they are.
Yeah, but...
I mean, it's all shit I've seen before. It's like, yeah, and I've seen people go down that route, and I've seen people get stabbed over it. But,
And I mean, I'm not saying everything I like has to be an epic journey. Like, one of my favorite books, Crash, nothing happens in it. Like, they get involved in car accidents, they have sex, then the guy disappears, and he gets involved in a car crash. But... just anything like, yes, I want something more challenging than the dramatic lives of yuppies living in an apartment that's bigger than anyone's ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I want more than that. But yeah, but like I said, a lot of people like the path of least resistance, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, like I also had an older sister, so I was kind of plugged into the mainstream thing, and I had to listen to all those mainstream songs and stuff. And I just, whatever this is, it wasn't for me. Like I didn't actively hate it because I didn't know what hate was. But I just, this is when I was like 4 or 5, but I was like, this just isn't for me. And then I got into like The Simpsons and stuff, and found something I actually liked. So. Yeah, so it's...
I mean, Beavis and Butthead, I like that. And it was mostly my generation that liked that. But at the same time, it was also a small niche within my generation that liked that. comparatively speaking, because it wasn't Michael Jackson or any of the fucking yuppie shit that I don't know why. Fuck God.
I was very surprised at how big it actually was, because, one of the games is basically you have to find parts of tickets to go to a Guar concert.
Yeah.
And that was awesome, and I like them, and fun
Ren and
stuff.
Stimpy was awesome.
Ren and
The
Stimpy
original
was awesome.
airings, that is, the adult party, that turned out to be complete shit.
Everyone knew it was complete. John, the creator, knew it was going to be shit, but he was being paid, and Spike TV wanted it, so it's like, okay, whatever, I'll try it. But everyone knew it would be shit. Like Billy West refused to do it because he didn't think it'd be funny, and it wasn't. But Ren and Stimpy was too adult for like the for kids when I was growing up. But thankfully there was a cable channel which had all like the old Nicktoons like Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life and stuff, and they would play that. I'm like, wow, I can't believe this was a kid's show.
Yeah, and it was awesome. And that's another funny thing I think is hilarious, because like when I was growing up, okay, we had toys based off of R-rated movies.
Yep, and you had TV shows based off R-rated movies.
Oh yeah,
Toxic Crusaders.
And that was a huge play set that you could get for your kids. You could also get Predator, Terminator, RoboCop. That was really good to have. And I'm talking, straight after the first movie. The one where they had the co-ed shower scene.
I've never seen the Mortal Kombat movies, although my mother had the soundtrack to the album, to one of the movies, the one with Napalm Death in it. And I always wondered. I don't think she liked it very much, but I love the talk.
I gotta say one thing about RoboCop. I'm just thinking back, because I remember sitting there, and my parents let me watch it with them when it first aired on HBO, and like, they didn't like hush me away because there was a co-ed shower scene or anything, but I swear that the fucking movie was geared so that parents would bring their older kids along to see it, because the humor in the commercials, and I'd buy that for $1, and I forget the name of it, Nukem or something. It was as a kid, you wouldn't have understood all the political hubbub around the fucking Cold War and all the paranoia and all that shit that would make it funny for an adult. But as a kid watching that commercial, you're like, you get to drop a nuclear bomb on people. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, even kids my age, even kids my age, like the original RoboCop. By the way, I have to say that for anyone who doesn't know what the Toxic Crusaders were, it was a kid show based on Toxic Avenger. I personally loved it because it was made by Troma, who knew exactly what they were doing, and so there was a lot of humor about how they were selling out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very tongue in cheek, and it also had visceral hatred for Captain Planet, which I loved. Because Captain Planet sucks.
Go Planet! Fucking save the planet or die! How dare you!
At least the Toxic Crusaders had reasons to want to save the planet. They were all horribly mutated because of environmental problems.
Yes.
So at least you would have a reason to. But there's we don't want to save the planet.
And you go about it all wrong. The power of heart.
But I tended to like things I watched a Futurama episode when I was 6, and I thought that was a really great episode, even though I was 6 and Futurama was made for older people. Even Metalocalypse, I got into it when I was 12, and it was made for older 18 or I'm sure Adult Swim were thrilled to know that there were 12, 13-year-olds watching Metalocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the time when South Park won a Nickelodeon award, the Kids' Choice Award, and the studio executives were shitting bricks like, oh my god, we're gonna get sued because of this.
Yeah.
Kids should not be watching South Park, but it's a show about kids, but it's not for kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, hell, Beavis and Butthead was mostly for your older teens.
Yep, true.
And God, their adventures, that was good. And trying to explain to someone, no, I know for a fact that your box set does not contain the complete episodes that you think it does, because they destroyed the originals. The only way to get some of those original episodes, them using Anderson's credit card to buy an entire fucking store full of animals, and Beavis doing his famous fire trick, which burned down the open night club that they were at. The originals of those were burnt, so the only way to get it is a bootleg.
It seems a little extreme to burn it. I can understand not airing them, but to burn it, I remember reading it, I was like, why would you go that far? Like, just don't air them.
Yeah, but, that's just complete bullshit. And the thing was, they were too paranoid of the morality squads and shit coming out. Because you had the left saying, oh my god, our kids are gonna fucking, turn out to be Hitler. And, had the right coming out and saying, oh my god, they're all worshipping Satan and becoming idiots and burning down homes. And, the whole entire mess that started the whole thing was this chick fucking, instead of calling the fire department whenever something happened at her home, with her toddler still inside, that has to be known. Her toddler was unaccounted for.
Her son burnt down their trailer park with her RV trailer or whatever, with her daughter still inside. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But
instead of calling the fire department, 911, cops, any of that, the very first thing she called was the media.
And keep in mind that she didn't have cable, so she could. But she blamed Beavis and Butthead, saying that Beavis said they said that fire looked cool, so the kid did it. Meanwhile, the neighbors were like, well, they didn't have cable, so I don't know how they could do that.
Yeah. Even the kid years later said, I had never seen an episode of Beavis and Butthead. And, my mom was just blaming it on me, and she called the fucking news station first. It's like, oh, so you wanted fame over saving your toddler's life. You were willing to sacrifice your little girl just to get a bit of fame.
Fucking Phil Anselmo burned down his house. That was years before Beavis and Butthead existed.
Oh, God, they recently had, one of these quote-unquote influencer types, and he was doing, a bunch of aircraft videos because he's a amateur pilot, and he took out his plane, and, oh my god, I'm in trouble, I gotta bail, and he filmed the whole thing of him bailing and the thing wrecking.
Yeah, and he crashed on purpose.
Once the investigation started, everyone found out real quick. Yeah, he wrecked that on purpose because the way you were jerking those controls, that does force a stall out. And you could have easily glided the whole way to a fucking airstrip from there.
Yep. I remember car sites. I remember car sites posting about it, and they're like, that looks on purpose, and I guess the NTSB's up his ass now, which they should be.
I mean, that's endangering people's lives and shit there. Because, you may think it's landing somewhere where there's no one because it's a huge wooded area, but you have no idea who the hell's hiking, especially out in the middle of the mountains and shit.
Yeah, I remember that. So, people are faking plane crashes to get the views.
Mm-hmm.
God, I hate social media sometimes. Let's get some more music.
Yeah, let's get some music.
Freedom for all the people.
All right, kiddies. The first one was Guar with the Morality Squad, off of America Must Be Destroyed.
There's a great live DVD, or well, it's DVD now, but Tour de Scum that was filmed around the America Must Be Destroyed tour with Grambo. It was very good.
And he also had the Phallus in Wonderland movie. That was great.
Yes, it was. I miss when Guar would make a bunch of movies and shit. And
That was always a good time.
I have all of them. Well, most of them. I have everyone that I could find.
The next one was Mayhem with Chainsaw Guts Fuck.
Off of Death Crash from '87, before the whole pure black metal thing. It's very fun, very evil, and it involves the word chainsaw. And that was my idea for the intro to Swine Brothers, because I was watching Hellcast and they used like Slayer and stuff as intros, and I was thinking, we should have an intro, not just, hi, welcome to the show, my name's Elliot, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, well, we should have, and my first thought was just use the intro to Chainsaw Guts Fuck, because it's dirty and gritty, and, but thankfully Jeannie from You Got Heard Gods gave us a very much better intro.
A great blessing.
It was awesome. It is still such a great intro.
Oh, yeah.
It is an awesome intro.
So as we sit here contemplating how every generation is going to be looked upon with scorn as we find out that they like shit we don't like.
Well, of course, and that's you'll always have that. But I love that this generation was saying that we're not going to repeat the mistakes of the past.
We said the same damn thing. We did the same damn shit. Oops.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing with legacy too, because every generation will come along and fix one problem, but they create 3 more with that solution. And everything just gets kicked down for the next generation. They're going to fix one thing and break 3 others. Then the next one's going to fix one thing and break 3 others. And the cycle continues.
Like I said before, I knew that I wasn't going to like what this generation likes or whatever, but, now I'm called a boomer for not liking 90s hardcore, the beatdown crap. Yes, apparently that's, 80s hardcore is boomer hardcore, even though that it sounds much more vibrant than I'm gonna groove on a power chord for 3 minutes and talk about how no one understands me and how how we're gotta be united.
I'm sorry, I'm just remembering fucking off on our own little swine chat. What's her name fucking came in and said, no one understands me, and I couldn't do anything but bust out laughing. Because no one understands what's going on in my head, no one understands me, and blah. It's like, yeah, it said every single individual throughout all history. And even before history, they've all said it, we've all said it. No one understands me, so get it through your head that, at least someone understands that aspect. Because we've all gone through there.
I know you can put up with it because you're older, so you can look back on that with like a little bit of fondness or a little bit more. Whereas I'm only like 10 years older, so I'm looking at it going, oh my God, I don't want to be reminded of this.
No, trust me, whenever I had the answers to everything, well into my fucking 20s, having the answers to everything in the universe, all the secrets unlocked, I knew the truest essence of God and everything. It was great. And I look back now, it's like, dear fuck, what the hell was that? Oh my God. That's just like complete cyclic logic there, It's and the other thing is a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that thing is, oh God.
Yeah, I mean, I
understand looking back at your shit saying, oh God, but I do so laughing my ass off because it's so ridiculous to see where I came from. And every generation is going to fucking do that when they're coming up because they got the ideas that are going to move us forward, and maybe 1 or 2 will. The rest of them are completely garbage.
Yeah, I just, like I said...
So let's see what we actually do. The 1 or 2 ideas that would actually help, or the thousands which are utter garbage.
But I like how people, like the whole no one understands me thing, I like how they act like they're the only person who's ever had that problem. Like they're so unique.
I'm so unique and troubled. Oh God, I also remembered a bit because like whenever people the manifesto, the Elliot Rodger one, he
Yes.
unironically said my superior intellect.
Yes.
He was 100% serious and thinking he had the brain power to go through it all. And oh my God.
Which was me at like 14. Like
Yeah,
I thought I
probably
was smarter
about
than
like
everyone
17. You know, I kind of started to wade out of that. I started to, not quite, because, you know, I did have the IQ problem where fucking fuck you. I'm an inbred with a single digit IQ now. That's what I'm saying. That's the story. I'm sticking to it.
else.
Fuck what the hell they tested me at. Fuck that bullshit, because the life choices I made proved that I don't have that kind of intelligence.
And when I was 21, I still had that. You know, when we started the Swine Brothers show, I still had a little bit of the, you know, I'm smarter than people attitude.
Mm-hmm.
But
As you start to find out how idiotic you've been, even whenever you started this show.
he unironically also said that he was the supreme gentleman and a nice guy. I've never called myself a nice guy.
I love the fucking nice guy thing. I mean, I fell for it for about, you know, a few months, but that was...
I did too, but I was 14.
Well, I was a little bit worse, because I fell for it in my fucking late 20s, early 30s, after I left the ex-wife.
Wow.
But, you know, I could sit here and make the excuse of, oh, you know, I just got done being homeless, and I'm fucked up, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, yeah, I went to this phase where I fucking cheated on Seventh Sense. This was a fucking book reading program that let you go through the Lone Wolf book series written by Joe Deaver. I cheated on that to get on a leaderboard. And,
Nice.
and what's funny was someone tried to call me out on my cheating, and they're talking about me using all these programs, when all I did was just close out of the program before the roll was finalized, so I always got the number I wanted.
Nice.
You know, so like, he sat there and said, there's no way you would have done that. Yeah, I did it that way. I never told him that, because at the time I was like, you know, trying to be king shit still for whatever fucking reason.
Yeah.
You know, I could go through the whole psychobabble, but it's just a pitiful excuse. That's
I'm
all
more
there
talking
was.
I'm more talking about with relationships and girls and stuff, because that was his. You know, I'm the night like, yeah. When I was a kid, like I would see like guys, you know, talk to the like, because I was always, because you know, you watch those romantic movies or whatever, and you know they always talk romantically to their dates or whatever. So I was always, you know, under the impression that that's how you talk, and I've like, you know. And I'd see like, you know, gangster guys talk about like, yeah, you know, asked her fat ass out, and like, now I really, you know, of course now, yeah, that's how people talk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they joke and shit. But like back in the day, I was like, why would you say that to your girlfriend? Oh my God, that's so, you know, insensitive. You know, they should be dating me because I don't say that. And of course now, you should see what I said to my GF whenever she messages me in the morning. Usually,
God.
yeah, I'm not awake yet. Die.
I mean, my girlfriend and I will roast each other every now and then. Of
Yeah,
course, we
we
did
will.
have an argument yesterday.
But the
But
thing
in
is,
my defense, I was just way too whacked out of my skull to do much more than pass out, because I only had a couple hours sleep after work.
when
And
you
I was
take
ripped
way
out of my
too
skull.
much, when you take way too much weed, like I like enough that I can be whacked out but still function. I don't want to be that whacked
Well,
out.
I would have been fine if I had actual sleep, but I didn't. And the thing was, whenever I was woken up, because she had a place to go that I didn't know she had to go, otherwise it would have been a different story. You know, I wouldn't have gotten ripped at all. I would have tried to get to sleep earlier so I could take her places, because I'm more into being responsible in that regard. But like whenever I found out about this, I kind of snapped at her, and I feel horrible about doing it, because I was just waking up and I was just, you know, I still had a buzz going, but I was trying to sleep, and now I'm being woken up. It's like, oh God. And, you know, my brain was just like, ah. So, yeah, I kind of snapped at her for waking me up. But then, you know, after I got a little bit more sleep, everything was kind of cooled over. though she got upset again because I was sleeping so much. I was like, baby, I work third shift. You got to permit me enough time to sleep during the day, because 3 hours ain't going to cut it. I can function, but I'm going to be grumpy as fuck.
Yes. So, but the whole thing with me is like, so I had a little bit of that, that, oh my God, but that changed when I actually started like talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, getting to know how people, reacted in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because that's the thing. I had a couple friends, but I didn't really,
Your friends will call you a useless piece of shit.
Yeah,
Your
right.
best friends will tell you exactly why you're a useless piece of shit.
Yeah, so
sycophants are the ones that are going to sit there and say nothing but good things about you.
So I had friends, but we weren't close. We were just like, playground friends or whatever. And then basically I lived my life basically, with raising and music. And later I met the Puke Gang, and, the rest is ugly history. And by ugly, I mean beautiful, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've heard all the stories, but when I was still in kind of early on in high school, I didn't really have, so I didn't know how friends actually talked, and finally, so mainly because it wasn't because I was like socially, I was socially idiotic, but it was more just because they liked Jay-Z, I liked Metallica, we didn't have anything to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But so Elliot Rodger's problem, because I had that when I was like 14, 15, but I grew out of it. Whereas Elliot Rodger's problem is he didn't grow out of it, and I actually made some friends.
Talk with people.
Yeah, and I actually made some friends and realized that, oh yeah, that's what people. And now,
and the thing was with him, it was partly he was a spoiled brat and just expected it to be handed to him. I mean, he's sitting there bragging about how awesome he is because he gets to go to red carpet events with Mom. Because she's banging the latest producer or whatever. I don't know.
And she was friends with Steven Spielberg.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal.
Meanwhile, on the other hand, he gets to go on a vacation into a foreign country, but because he's crashing with, stepmom's relatives, he does nothing but cry until finally he has to take a flight back where his mom picks him up.
See, I can understand being miffed about not wanting to go, because I went last week. I went to Mammoth, California, and I did not want to go at all, but I had to basically. So I was miffed about going there, but because I wanted to do a show, and I know you wanted to do a show, and I read your little whiny little messages. Where are you? I want to do a show.
Yeah, well, now we're doing a show, so fuck off.
But anyway, so I did not want to go, and I didn't want to go from Thursday till Tuesday. But you know what I did, Jim? I said, okay, while I'm here, I might as well just enjoy what I have. And so I listened to music. I couldn't go off-roading because my ears were fucked up. And, off-road vehicles can be loud and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that could make my ears even more fucked up. Unfortunately, now they're fine. But so I couldn't go in the off-road vehicles that I like. But I had music. I was bored a lot, but I found a good beer. So, in the end, it worked out. But yeah, I didn't want to, but I didn't cry all day. I didn't.
Yeah, you made the best out of the situation. Seriously,
yes.
You were in a fucking foreign country. You could have explored all kinds of different shit there. And he even said that he was kind of getting along with the one guy there, because they shared similar interests, but he still cried and whined.
And like
a little bitch.
Okay, you don't want to stay for 3 weeks. Stay for a couple of weeks. And you know what? I've had my fun. I'd really like to go home now. Or I have something to do or whatever. I hate to cut it short, but I really have to go, finish something. But no, he just wanted to play World of Warcraft all day. Whereas I actually had records to review. I actually had shit to do.
Yeah, and you still had to go.
Yes, well, I didn't have to, but it was expected.
I was expected to go places that I didn't want to go, but I made the best out of it, and sometimes it wound up kicking ass more than I thought it would.
Yes, whereas Mammoth was just really fucking boring.
Sometimes the food's really good too.
Food was good though.
Yeah.
But yes, I loved. I finally got the internet. I log in and I see your little. Where are you? Where? That's what you sound like.
Oh, good. I did say I'm an invert with a single-digit IQ, so yeah.
Yes.
That kind of fits the motif.
Remember in the early episodes when you would brag about how you were tested for like an 8,000 IQ? I was like, no, it's actually 8.
Yeah. That was one of those phase things. So I wanted to proclaim myself king shit, and there was no need to.
Yes.
But you were also in the mood to proclaim yourself king shit until you found out you're pitiful.
I am king shit.
You're the most pitiful king shit there is.
Well, yes, but I'm still king shit. I mean, but just very pitiful.
Yes, you suck.
Yes, more music.
love. Nobody gives a toss about Charlton Heston, the man to come.
The first one was Turbocharged with Phantom Cataclysm.
That's off their most recent album. That's some...
Alpha Beast Omega God, I think.
Yes, Alpha Beast Omega God. That's... it's sort of death metal meets crust punk. It's really good. As you just heard.
The next one was Raw Noise with God, Guts, and Guns.
Off of System Never. That album changed my life in a way. I never heard, like I had heard hardcore punk and even some grindcore, but I just never heard hardcore punk done that way. Like it was just so brutal and I love it. But so I don't know how Jim chooses songs for the show, but I'll let you in on a little secret about how I choose songs. It used to be just even mid show, like, hey, let's play this song. You know, I think of a song and we play it or whatever. And every now and then that happens. You know, if Jim says something, and I'll be like, hey, here's a song about it or whatever. But most of the time, I just get stoned and start listening to music. And if something sounds amazing to my stoned brain, I post it and like, hey Jim, we gotta hear this.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we pick songs, basically.
Yeah.
So
I just saw something that was dumb.
What did you see that was dumb, Jim?
Is this Metallica's best album? And it's a picture of the Black Album.
That is dumb.
No. That's nowhere near that. That's like, it's not the exact opposite. It's not like their worst album. I know it's the one that sold the most because people are brain dead.
So even metal fans who like the Black Album will say it's not their best. The only way the Black Album is the best album is if it's literally the only album you've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe Saint Anger. Maybe if you heard Saint Anger, like, okay, maybe the Black Album's better.
Well, yeah, then it's better if you only listen to, like, from that period on.
Or Chode and Rechode.
Chode.
No, I actually think Death Magnetic Onward is better than the Black Album. Not by much, but better. But anyway, yeah, that's funny. Well, I also like your Ride the Lightning is the best metal album of all time, and I love that album.
No, not metal. Not the best metal album. It's Metallica's best.
No, it's not. Kill 'Em All, which is probably one of the best metal albums of all time, by the way. But Yeah, that's why I got out of like a lot of metal groups because it was just the big four, big four, big four, big four. It was like, okay, I love Slayer, they're one of my favorite bands or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about bands other than Slayer. Let's talk about Turbocharged or something.
Mm-hmm. Any of the
Um,
bands that we played here, hell, I'm introducing you to like video game covers, fucking shit.
yes. Whereas I'm coming through. So I mean, part of it is I want people to hear bands that maybe they haven't heard before, and wow, we really like this or something, and I
Mm-hmm.
have that evangelical spirit about me, as you know.
Yes, you must preach the good bands. Which is funny, because I just tried explaining to someone, no, among metalheads, this band sucks is the most popular opinion. Which band sucks? Name one. I've heard it all. You want a controversial opinion? It's this band rocks.
Um,
If you try to claim any band is kick-ass, you either get people just nodding their heads saying yeah, or it'll fucking start a flame war.
but just imagine, Jim, if I was to
But if you say a band sucks, everyone's like, yeah, I understand. I hear your pain, even if they like the band.
or no, well, or they'll be like, no, you suck or whatever. But just imagine if I was this rabid about like Christianity as I am about metal, I would be the one like setting myself on fire because the world hasn't seen the light of Christ yet.
That'd be awesome. Setting yourself on fire. I'd like to film that.
I think you should. I think you should set yourself on fire. See, I'm young and still have some stuff to give you.
I've already been set on fire, dude. Like Jeff did that to me while we were getting stoned on his back porch years ago.
Yeah, okay. Well, we didn't get to film it.
Yeah, I know, because we didn't have cell phones back then.
Yeah, so see, you have to do it again for us.
Exactly.
It's actually funny. It's actually funny because someone said, "So how do you guys get this chemistry? I want to emulate the chemistry of you and Jim." And I'm like, just find a friend who's who's willing to co-host. I mean, we snipe at each other all the time in messages because
Mm-hmm.
Jim will have some idea that I'll think is like too up its ass or just too whatever, too esoteric. And then he'll be like, no, you don't understand. And then I'll have an idea, and he'll say something stupid, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. So we'll just go back and forth on insulting each other.
And it's just natural because once you hung out long enough, even though we've only really hung out online, so once you hang out with someone long enough, you just start building a chemistry naturally. Listen, if you were to go back to whenever we were known as PTR, Political Trendy Radio, God, and see the early episodes I was on, we had no chemistry.
We did in a way, but I was like, wow, this guy's really cool. Let's get him on.
And it went from me being cool to me being, oh God, it's Jim again. That's great whenever I see that loss of hope and everything. I just destroyed everything by existing.
Well, what do they say? Familiarity breeds contempt?
Yep.
Yeah, PTR. I regret that name. But I was trying to come up with a name, and I have my old blog. It's called Political Trendy because it was a punk song about people who jump on,
the politics
bandwagon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't think that. I mean, seriously, I didn't think more than 2 people would listen to it, and the 2 people were my friends, so I didn't really care, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I started getting ads for like, I have a rap song about Donald Trump, and I'd like to be on your political show. So finally, I was like, we need a new name. We need a new name now.
And we sat there and tried to think of a good name for ages. Then someone fucked up. I think their name was the Fine Brothers, and they tried to copyright the word, trademark the word react, which is like the dumbest thing ever. But, fucking shit, people were making fun of them. They're like, oh, look, they're the Swine Brothers. I'm like, oh, dude, I want that. That's a good name for us, Swine.
I still like the term PTR, the initials PTR, and I've used PTR later. People say, what does that stand for? And I go, whatever you want it to stand for.
Yeah, I don't want to say what it actually originally stood for because I don't want hounded by people screaming, politics, it's the way forward.
You've never, no. So Political Trendy was a song by a band called Shocking Grasp, who was a local band from Flint, Michigan. They were contemporaries of Repulsion, but the only thing they ever recorded were a practice tape under an old band name and in a session on in a radio studio. right? So extremely obscure band. No one's ever heard of them, even fucking punks. But I thought, yeah, I just thought the name Political Trendy. I thought it was a good song because, jumping on the political bandwagon. So a Political Trendy would be a good name for a punk blog, making fun of that. But when I transferred from a blog, I had the blog from 2008, 2009 to 2015. And when I transferred, wow, I've been in this for fucking 15 years. That is depressing.
Good.
So when I transferred from a blog to a radio, I needed a name. And what about Political Trendy? Okay, like I said, no one's gonna hear this. It's not like I'll be interviewing metal musicians in the near future.
And then what happened? Oh fuck.
So, yeah, it's actually grown beyond what I had in mind for it, and I love it. But yeah, the early PTR, yeah, it's funny because like I was kind of like, wow, this Jim guy is awesome. After the first PTR, which was a complete disaster, by the way, I went on a show called Metalgate because someone named Mason. Ugh.
Oh god, the Metalgate thing.
So
looking back, it's like, yeah, I got pissed off at what? The same thing that pisses off metalheads every day? Censorship? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and what changed? Nothing.
Uh-huh. And, I also wanted to make certain we didn't go out and destroy anything without... Because, I ended up being, one of the de facto leaders of the movement, somehow. And because I was the one that actually knew metal that signed on, and I found out about 80% of people that signed on knew jack shit. They just didn't like censorship.
I was just saying, don't go full right wing, and then they all went full right wing. And I was like, I fucking told ya. You didn't, but a lot of people did. I was like, I told you not to. But anyway, so
I've come to calling myself a fucking religious conservative because I am a Christian, and I am to the right of Stalin, therefore conservative.
Yeah. But anyway, so after I don't believe any of that bullshit. I see through you. You're invisible, even though you're gigantic.
I am a tub of lard that just sits and takes up space. You see, whenever someone asks me to put another log on the fire, I take a shit directly into the fire because I got to put a shit log in it.
So the thing about Jim is he's substantial, but he's insubstantial. He's gigantic, but I can see right through him. But anyway, so after the first PTR, I was kind of feeling down to it. Mason's like, oh yeah, you can come on this Metalgate podcast. I was like, well, it says Metalgate, so I'll it says metal, so it's either going to be a cool show or a shit show. And it was cool. We talked to a couple people, and you were exhausted, but I find you hilarious because every time you would open your mouth, whatever you said was perfect at the time. You said 5 words, but they were always
the best
great
words for the situation.
So we got Scott on the show a couple times, and he was cool, but he admitted he didn't know anything about metal, and he was more into prog rock and stuff, and and I was like, man, if we can get that kamikaze Jim guy, whatever his name is, that would be awesome. We finally got you in episode 7, and now we can't get rid of you.
I'm just sitting here looking at a mock-up here of Eisenheimer, and it's called Weisenheimer, with the Three Stooges. And I was like, yeah, I'd like to see the Three Stooges researching the nuclear bomb.
That's funny.
That's hilarity waiting to happen.
That's
how many times did they eradicate themselves? They got to keep pulling themselves out of the clone pits.
So somebody make that a thing. So, I was like a little 21-year-old, a couple years after my party years, and I was like, yeah, I know everything about everything, and I want to do a show to promote atheism.
Oh, God.
No, I'm not even an atheist anymore, but I'm going to do a show to promote atheism and anarchism. Yeah. I watched those old shows, and
God, I remember when I was an anarchist.
Well, so the thing is, Jim, I watched those old shows, and they were only a couple years ago. So if they're 20 years ago, then I'd be like, yeah, that was, haha. But 7, 8 years ago, I'm like, oh God, don't remind me. The Fallout New Vegas videos that we did, I made some stupid jokes in that one that I'm really ashamed of.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because
they
it
were
was
bad.
hilarious of me trying to fucking every horrible decision you ever made
Oh, no.
on that game I had to cope with. Granted,
No.
I made a few stupid ones myself. Let's go hunting death claws right after the beginning.
The actual decisions and stuff I love. I mean, that's what I was missing in 4 was I wasn't making the decisions. It was like just do that. Whereas New Vegas, I liked that I was making decisions and stuff. No, it's just like the offensive jokes that I would make. He's so edgy.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, oh God, shut up. But no, I love the horrible decisions I made and stuff. And of course the reason why I was making horrible decisions wasn't because he doesn't know how to play a game. Yeah, I don't really care about game mechanics. But a lot of the thing was just I just wanted to see what would happen. Like the Bruce Isaacs
Oppenheimer, that's the name of it. God, why the hell did I mix that up? Oh well.
Whatever. Oh yeah, that's right. That's a movie coming out or is
That
out.
just shows you that I am an inbred with a single-digit IQ. Yep.
But anyway, so yeah, we do stuff, and okay, here's the smart way to do it. But we were playing it with an intelligence of 1. I had to play it like that.
You had to be dumb. And that's why the couple of decisions I made for you, I loved it. It's like, we're going to save Veronica from the Brotherhood. How? We're hiding them in the stomachs of the fucking White Glove Society. But no, they didn't share our friend with us. Now the White Gloves have to die, even though we have no problem with cannibalism. We've eaten our share of people.
I mean, if you ever want to have fun, watch all the endings that Jim put all the endings in one big video for your viewing pleasure or for your viewing pain. We don't care. But yeah, watch the ending of all the endings.
That's a true psychopath. He played favorites with some people and others. I loved. I remember I tried to talk you out of wasting Boone when you did, but it was just too hilarious.
I understood. You tried talking me out of getting rid of my spine because there was a 1-point penalty. I was like, well, we could just get that back in later. So who cares? But yeah, you did talk. Well, I was kind of like, should we keep that as canon? What happened with Boone? I was like, yeah, it's too funny.
Yeah.
And canon is just before you. No, I was kidding. Oh, okay. Well, I got to kill you now.
You started shooting at me. I wanted her dead, but here's the proof to prove that, okay, you don't want the proof, fine. She's the one who sold your wife into slavery. I got the proof in my hand. You don't want it. You get a bullet in the head.
Yeah, well, because so the first thing we did, rather than give him the proof, is joke that, I just wanted you to kill her. So he got pissed off, so we had to put him out of his Boone misery.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, he's with his wife now or whatever, I don't care. I don't like Boone anyway.
Yeah, he was the brooding type, the broken guy that girls go gaga over. I can fix him. No, you can't.
God, I was the brooding guy, and the only girls I attracted were fucking psychopathic Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm fixed and I get an actual Christian who's not psycho, but I do make fun of her for that. Because, life. But
yes.
But yeah, so I mean, I've grown a lot in the 208 episodes we've done, and this shit's grown beyond my wildest dreams. There's still, of course, room to grow.
Yeah. And the thing is, whenever you get out there and you bullshit with people, you slowly evolve. You pick up some of their traits, you leave the ones that you don't like behind. And another thing I've noticed, a lot of online things, is people entering into these negative feedback loops. I don't understand why. The whole incel thing. I can understand trying to connect with people that aren't getting laid, okay? I can understand that, but once you get in there, there's such a negative feedback loop reinforcing you'll never succeed, you'll never do anything. I got people fucking telling me that, no one believes in taking risks anymore. To which I say, thanks for all the pussy that you gave up on. I'm certain they'd rather date you because you're close to their age range. But, they'll take an old fart like me who's toothless, living with his parents and shit.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you 1,000% why they like the negative mind spaces. Because, first off, it confirms their beliefs. And second, what's easier, trying to improve yourself or convincing yourself that girls don't want you because they only like assholes? Like, it's you know, trying to, okay, maybe I'm the problem, would actually take some introspection. Whereas, yeah, girls don't like me because, they only want assholes, and I'm the magnificent gentleman. That, you know,
Yeah, the whole nice guy thing, I was such a prick on that. But I was the nice guy when I was
but
on that kick for about, a few months. And then, I fucking got over it and realized, dear God, what the fuck was I doing?
but the thing is, that takes effort to get out of that.
It's just better to
And
call myself an asshole.
but
And
they
then
don't
if my
want,
actions disprove that, then you can judge me by my actions.
but they don't
But if
want
my
to.
actions don't disprove it, then I'm being honest. So, which is it?
But they don't want to introspect that much because again, having that having that thing where they go in and yeah, it's all your, it's not your
Maybe
fault,
I'm the
bro.
problem.
It's
You
not your
never want to
fault,
consider
bro.
maybe I'm the problem.
No, because that would take some introspection. But nah, bro, it's all the modern women's fault because they only like assholes, and we should band together and talk about, it's 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 the same as the self pity club.
Hmm.
You've seen those people walking around, two or three guys who like,
The
they got
whole
broken up.
And you got the whole entire doomer thing where it's like, oh wow, look at society slowly collapse. It's like, yeah, and you're not going out to help your neighbors. You're not doing a thing. You're just sitting here moping it's all going to hell without, even doing the most basic thing against it.
See
Because
what I
what you
do?
gotta think about everything as if it's only like top down instead of bottom up.
See what
Bottom
I
up
do is
is slower, yes, but it
see,
gets the change done permanently.
yeah, but see what I do with the doomers is I send them like Cuban Missile Crisis videos or videos about the Cold War in the 80s, and like I'm trying to tell them like, yeah, things have always been shit. It's not Things are not worse now than they were or better. The If you watch
Things
the
have always
news,
been shit.
it
And
it
I
was
think that's like kind of the whole thing here with the whole entire, kids getting into shit. This is a constant. This is a societal constant. You can even read about it in the Bible. The kids like shit things. And they're doing evil. And they're going to fucking ruin everything I built for them. And all this other stuff. And I know we get the first fucking self-righteous anti-theist on here saying, hey, well, the Bible stole things. Well, you just proved my point there. It's older than the Bible then.
well.
The concept's probably older than writing.
The other thing is if you watch the news, everything's shit. But actually go out and like
Yeah.
enjoy the beauty of nature or whatever.
God.
Well, I live in the desert, so but
Yeah,
still,
well, they call it touching grass these days.
yeah.
It took me a while to pick up that bit of science. Like, that sounds like lame. I mean, of course you're going to touch grass when you go outside.
I'd rather touch grass than be on the fucking computer, I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, I don't have any friends nearby, so. So yeah, I mean, yeah, just go outside and have some fun.
I mean, hell, I spend an inordinate amount of time watching fucking internet videos, but I still go outside, do things. Got a girlfriend here.
But we can't talk about what you do outside. By the way, are you still banned from the zoo?
As always.
Okay. I told you not to. I mean, giraffes' necks don't bend that way, man.
I know. It's been a sad day as we figure out all the things that do not work.
But yeah, so just like, I mean, yeah, and of course, when this next generation starts having kids, whenever they stop at the whole, oh, I'm child free because that's selfish to have kids, and they actually start
Oh
wanting
God!
kids,
I'm
which
just
will
wait.
happen in about.
I'm
10
waiting for
days,
some of these
10 years.
people sitting here saying we need to, because I saw some fucking Gen Z and Gen A videos where they're saying we should depopulate the Earth. I'm waiting, another few years before they're like, I want kids. Which
Well,
is the exact opposite of depopulating the Earth. Which is it?
so there's a band called Kettle Decapitation, and Travis Ryan, the singer, likes to make a lot of sanctimonious little speeches about how there's too many humans on the earth and blah 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 blah. And my response to Travis is, "Hey Travis, you're a human. Maybe if you want to depopulate the earth, start with yourself."
Oh, that's
Allegedly.
good. Allegedly. That would be allegedly good. Yes.
Yeah, that would be yeah. Except fuck Travis Ryan. I can't stand that guy. But yes, allegedly, we don't want him to kill himself. Just, if he were to run into a threshing machine, that would be fine. On accident, of course.
Always on accident.
On accident, yes. But yeah, my whole thing with the whole, we're probably like, well.
And the thing is, you're having the same fucking ideas we had growing up.
Yeah.
God damn, you don't know how much I heard this same shit back when I was a kid.
And how many of those
have doomed because the climate's going to destroy itself.
And how many of those?
I actually had my chemistry teacher tell me, yeah, back in the 70s, 60s and shit, we thought we were heading towards another ice age because we saw the geological data. But the fact that we were warmer than this, that's what started the global warming thing.
Yep.
And you go from that, the fact that we had a few cold years, that made them go from global warming to climate change.
Yep.
Because they didn't. And the whole thing is, well, yeah, you're trying to predict weather on a scale that's way out there. Did mankind fuck up the environment? Yes. Okay. Are we cleaning it up? Well, the most developed nations are. Well, some of the most developed nations are. Your more socialist ones aren't, even though they are the ones claiming that they're going to be the ones leading the charge forward. It's fucking hilarious. The ones that are actually capitalists are like, you know what? There's money to be made in cleaning up the environment. Let's clean up the environment.
Except here, of course.
Yeah.
Where here it's let's make electric cars. Let's outlaw gas cars. And let's make electric cars. Let's clean up the environment. Even though those things catch on fire at an alarming rate, we still can't figure out how to put out electric car fires. They've been known to reignite after weeks. And also, the power grid can't handle hot days. But we're going to plug, 50 million electric cars on this power grid. So, yeah, here.
I mean, hybrids work better.
Well,
from what I've seen.
Well, what it work much better is synthetic fuels.
Yeah, but we tried that with corn and it didn't work out. And of course they're gonna fucking.
No, corn's stupid. Corn is wasteful. Sugarcane and hemp is the way to go. Or you can also, scientists in oil companies because oil companies finally got the message that, they need to adapt or die, and they still want to make their billions of dollars. Mm-hmm. So what they're trying to invest in is synthetic gasoline, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, corn's a waste. No, sugarcane or hemp if you want methanol.
There we go.
With marijuana being, more legal, and I would not be surprised if that would be pretty cool if hemp actually became a fuel
sound
source.
like one of those hippies that's like, yeah, it's got millions of uses. I don't know what they are, but it's got millions of uses, and it cures every disease there is.
I'm sorry, these are facts. It does have a million uses, and I actually do know what they are. So, eat my ass.
Yeah, but you sound like a hippie. I just had to point that out.
Yeah, and you sound like a jaded old guy.
I am jaded and old.
Okay, so see, fuck you. But I'm just saying
fucking
that
gray hairs now, and I'm balding.
I think that's better than electric cars because I think they did.
And my cock don't work like it used to. Now I gotta sit there and try not to waste any erection I have.
And besides, I don't want to know. Nobody needs to know that, Jim. Come on. And besides, pot is like the one thing I agree with hippies about.
Yeah, that's what I agree with them about too. And the acid, but I don't do that anymore.
Besides, it's my show, bitch.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's that. But I do think it's better than electric cars because they basically, like California, just threw a bunch of money at electric cars. It's less it's less toxic. There's less fumes. Yeah, but electric fires are very toxic.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, have you ever smelled a fire like at a computer store or something?
Yes, I have. It's bad. I mean, fucking shit. Whenever we get fucking shit going on. Whenever we accidentally burn the plastic, if it's the wrong kind of plastic, dear God, I don't want nowhere near that when it happens at work. But usually I got to work near it, and it's like, God, I'm going to die.
The other problem with electric cars, of course, is let's say you crash and a wire gets crossed, and then it electrocutes whoever touches it. Or I'd be very frightened of trying to work on an electric car.
I would be too.
Like, yeah, gasoline can ignite, but at least you can see it and know what it's doing.
Exactly.
Electric cars, yeah. So that's Elliot's anti-electric car rant for the day. Thank you, Jim.
Well, let's get on with something else that I want to rant about.
Yes.
Kitties, that first one was Archon and Faustus with the Black Succubus Whores.
Yeah, that's off their first album.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
I think it was
French.
called Hell Injection.
Yes, great French. Black Death.
Black Death, there we go. The next one was Carcass with Slash Dementia.
Off of Symphonies of Sickness, that's a classic.
Okay. Oh, nice to hear. Good classic. Death. Murder. Mayhem.
Murder.
And fucking shit. So, it's also hilarious to see, like, how much millennials are freaking out over kids doing what kids do, which is rebel. It wasn't that long ago, like, when school was still in session, we had the Pride Month thing going on, and some of the kids protested against that, and, like, the teacher decided to fucking throw the book at them and try to destroy their future, whatever, just because they didn't feel like participating in Pride Month. Which, you know, kids rebelling against everything. If the teacher's forcing you to do something, you're going to go against it. Even if you agree with what they're saying, kids are still going to go against it.
If teachers tried to force me to do something, I would definitely, try to not do it, or,
Yeah, even if you agreed with it, it's like, well, fuck you if you're forcing this shit.
Yeah, I never agree with forcing any sort of, like, I agree with telling people about it, but forcing them to participate, I don't agree with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, thankfully, we
And you
never
got
had.
like some of the old school, gay guys that were fighting for everything, from like the 80s on, they, or even before that, even they're saying, I'm tired of having an entire month dedicated to this shit. Why am I on the spotlight for a month?
You'd think that, I mean, so the problem I've always had is, like, I'm totally into accepting anyone as they are, but why does having a month dedicated to them, like, cool, you're gay,
Because you start
awesome.
dedicating things to that, you're going to start getting people demanding, we need straight pride month and we need white pride month and, oh God.
Well,
It just opens the door to all this shit. It's like, I understand, when there's a need, but there's like now very little need, if any at all, because, we already got the gay marriage thing going.
right, and my whole thing is just, I mean, I'm into, like, and obviously if people are, firebombing gay which has happened before,
Yes.
do something about that. But I'm into accepting people as they are. Like, okay, cool, you're gay, awesome. Like, whatever. That was never an issue for me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you like guys. Well, I'm not interested, so you're shit out of luck, bud.
That's about all you can say,
That was someone. What if a guy propositions you? I'm like, just say you're not interested.
That's all it took for me.
Just say, hey, you know what? I'm not gay. Sorry.
Yep, don't swing that way, and they usually leave you alone. I mean,
Yeah.
once in a while you get that really weird guy that thinks, so yeah, because they got a hard on thinking about converting people, but it's like, yeah, some people are just immune. Like a lot of them.
But yeah, PM kids are gonna rebel, and kids have their own minds, and not everyone shares your beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna destroy their future because, they don't
Kids are
share your
being
beliefs,
kids. Wow.
or they don't share your beliefs, whatever
Mhm.
your beliefs are. I mean,
Well, I think the whole entire don't destroy them because they don't share your beliefs. That's been a constant, regardless.
yes, but it's worth saying because I don't think a lot of these people understand that.
Yeah, they're gonna destroy you because you have different beliefs than us. Ooh, wow.
But yet, well, it's also funny because we accept everyone as they are unless you think differently. We're free thinkers unless you think differently than me.
Yeah. You
Then
gotta
you're
be open-minded, unless it's open-minded about the wrong things.
wait. You came to a conclusion that you're not an atheist? Oh, you're just a brainwashed Christian then.
Uh-huh. Yes, you're always this or that. And it's got to be put down in the most simplest, basic form. Because, you don't like to talk to people. You like to talk at them, but you don't like to talk with them.
I mean, yeah, they said we're free thinkers, and so I thought freely, and I came to a conclusion that they didn't agree with. So I went from people loved me when I was an atheist. You remember all the people I had as friends and shit?
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh my God, the blind atheist! Oh, he's so awesome." Then when I started becoming a Satanist, oh my God, just a brainwashed Christian.
Yeah, even though you're the antithesis and most of your shit is based off of Christian
Yeah,
version
mine's
of demonology. It's based off of fucking
uh,
the Epic of
well,
Gilgamesh.
yeah, a lot of like Mesopotamian stuff, and it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
And also, you're a shit dog. You're a shit bird.
Yes, I am a shitbird. I've always been a shitbird. What the fuck? What happened to you? Hello? Hello?
I've always been a shit bird.
There you are. You came back.
Yeah, I accidentally unplugged it, but I plugged it back in. The microphone, I mean. I
Yes,
moved my
once again
I,
proving we're complete morons. That's good to know.
I moved my arm and it unplugged. So, eat my ass.
No.
Eat an ass.
Eat an ass.
Again, people want to know how their chemistry is. Just get friends who snipe at each other all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jim's a certified moron.
Yes, but did you know that Elliot's blindness has leaked down to his anus, so now he has to spray shit everywhere he goes to defecate. And that's why there are these giant messes whenever you go into, like, bathrooms. Elliot was there. That's why there's inches of shit caked against the wall.
Jim talks about messes. I've heard what you do to showers.
I know.
I have heard what you do to showers. Go back in and somehow there's like fucking water on the ceiling and like.
Yep. And then I have to destroy the toilet on top of it, and that's before we have sex.
And I don't even know how do you do that? Like,
I don't know how I do it. I've never known. It just happens.
It's just a magnet for destruction and complete ruin of everything. Yeah, so he's making jokes about me being, blind and shitting everywhere. Meanwhile, yeah, I've heard his stories. I'm glad there are no pictures.
Look, at least I didn't drink a full fucking container of piss.
And you, murdered your, I don't know. You did a lot of it. I'm gonna find it.
You're gonna find the things that embarrass me going back through our entire catalog.
And then you'll be like, yeah, I did that, whatever. So then I'll be forced to just murder you. Like, he wasn't getting embarrassed, so I just, killed him.
Yes.
Oh, no, I know what can make you disgusting. I know what you did with the questionable woman that one time.
What? Which?
The crack whore?
Which crack whore?
The one you ate out?
Yeah, that was disgusting. Okay.
Good. There you go. Every time you mention that, which you've only mentioned a couple times, I clap queen, sick and obscene.
Yeah, because that was like the most unwashed cunt ever. I should not have done that.
Flem has heard the episode, and he's like, why would you do that?
Because I paid for it. And I'm a G.G. Allen fan. These things happen.
Yay. Well, yeah, things. So anyway, that's pretty much the moral, is just every generation is going to hate what every other generation's into. And my advice, rather than stop hating, stop pretending you're any different from anyone else. Just admit that, yeah, the kids are going to be into stuff that's going to drive me insane.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what pisses me off about this generation. Not that they hate whatever they hate, because that Skibidi thing was, if I ever see that again, I will throw things at Jim's face.
Ah, good.
But the whole thing is like, okay, yeah, it was idiotic, but this is the generation we're not going to make the same mistakes as our old generation. We're going to be accepting and tolerant. And then they see something they don't like. Ew, what's that?
Oh my God, you're ruining the world.
Like, I just said that I would never be accepting and tolerant. And
a
there you go.
6-hour-long dissertation on what's wrong with people that donate money to the people doing the NPC thing.
Yep,
I mean, I can understand that. You're pressing a button. Sure, you're spending your own money to do it. But you're pressing a button to get them to react in a manner that you find entertaining. Even though it's the same 6 programmed things that they're saying over and over again, that's what you're paying for. I could totally get that.
Yeah, do I think it's idiotic? But I think, a lot of
the fact I totally get it doesn't mean I don't think...
Look, do I think it's idiotic? Yes. But do I think a lot of other things people spend their money on is idiotic? I think, spa treatment, I think those are idiotic. I mean, there's so many things that I think are just, I think spending hundreds of $1,000s on funerals, I think that's idiotic. So people, if I got mad every time I saw somebody spend their money idiotically, I would never I would never get out of bed in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's a moron.
Everyone's a moron. And I'm an inbred with a single-digit IQ. Yeehaw!
And I'm blind king shit.
Well, at any rate.
And on that note, this is the Swine Show, 208. You can contact us at cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com. Facebook, the Swine Brothers, Twitter, SwineBros666, and our Discord, Swine Metal Club. You can also like, comment, subscribe, share. Definitely share.
Yeah, definitely share the fuck out of it. We suck at self-promotion.
I definitely support the bands that we play if you like them.
Yes, buy their
Buy
merch.
their-
Buy their albums.
Buy their album. Give them head if they want to. Anyway, the Jim Manelli. I'll see you later. See you next time.
Studying is so much more fun when she spreads her crotch in your face.
Alright, I'm gonna go beat up some midgets.